Hello, my name is Nachma. I'm a coach and this is my first YouTube video. So, what is coaching? Coaching is a medium of change. It's when you speak with someone about certain aspirations or issues you may be having in a specific area of your personal or professional life, and you gain clarity, you take action, and you find some consistency in your momentum, and eventually the results that you've been looking for and whatever that you desire. The brilliant thing about coaching is that it's very broad spectrum and anything can be coached about. You can bring yourself into that medium of change, get engulfed, get absorbed into that atmosphere, and then see what happens for you. So why would you want to work with me? Basically, it's about personality, orientation, and like. It's so simple. Coaching is a very sophisticated thing and a very simple thing at the same time. So, all the way up to performance coaching, where people are coached into some really big results that they're looking for, and nothing can be oversimplified or overcomplicated. What I mean by that is that you may have a simple issue, something you think is very simple, but it may need a very complex care and look into it. In the same time, you may have a very complex issue and it may be simplified in the coaching medium. So there's an element of predictability there. You just at some point you just don't know really how's it going to be, and that's where you let the coaching surprise you. So my ethics around coaching are centered about empathy. Empathy is the core of my coaching because I realize from where I'm coming from, my story, my struggles, my experience. Coaching is about having a human contact. You can speak with your friends about your issues. You can speak with your family about your issues. You can speak with your colleagues about certain things. But coaching, it differs from all these other mediums because it's very specific to the issue that you're having, and you get a certain level of focus on that. Something happens in our brains on a neuroscientific level when you look at something with concentration and you give it a level of attention. You get to expand in yourself, you get to make room for that change to happen. Your brain changes, you rewire certain pathways. Now you are more focused on that thing and you are practicing, and something is going to happen, something really brilliant is going to happen for you. Aside from the human contact, which is the essence of coaching really, having that human being in your life who is as much as you are invested in your change that you desire and your destiny, there is also accountability, and this is where you get the structure really to take that action, to come back to your coach with whatever that you may be experiencing. If it's something that's holding you back, if it's a win that you have made, if it's a progress that you have made, and it really is the coaching itself where the change happens. It's in that coaching relationship where the change happens for you, but you've got to have that coach who is willing to hold your hand, go through your challenges with you, and at the same time celebrate those wins with you again. So now a little bit about me. I had my first awakening when I was back in university, and I remember something about the orientation of the place that just didn't match with me. The way that they had high expectations on the students, the way there was no one to speak with about your issues, and the issues that you may be having. They didn't want to discuss anything about the way that the university was running. They just wanted to discuss if you're having, family issues, financial issues, these kind of things. They didn't want to change. So there was a bit of a fascism really going on there. Anyway, I had to drop out. I was handed a failure and I made the decision to leave. But I was caught in between my passion and the place really. So I tried to go back. I didn't have the clarity and maturity at the time. And this is how I actually found out about the system. The fact that you have to repeat years. If you, for example, fail in year 2, you have to start from year 1 all the way back. And that to me was a little bit backwards. When I heard that, I just knew like something was off. In any case, because I'm a very passionate person, I'm very driven, I've always worked hard in school. When I didn't get, I'll come to this in a bit, when I didn't get my social position and university didn't prove to be productive for me, and later on couldn't secure employment, my mental health deteriorated. It really went bad, and to this day I'm coping and just hoping for a miracle really. I found coaching, which is something brilliant, and I believe in the world of neuroscience, change and so on can really do something. I'm a very spiritual person too, so around this time when I was dropping out of university, I grew closer to my religion. I'm a Muslim, and Islam really offered me the sanctuary to be there in a familial kind of way. I just felt like I was part of a family, even though there was no one. I was a bit alone, like I wasn't speaking with anybody, I didn't know anybody, I was homeless. Yet I just felt really warm, and to this day I still feel that I got that feeling. It has nothing to do with people or community and stuff like that. It has everything to do with my relationship with Allah, the God, and the way I just feel part of that. Allah is the most merciful, the kindest, and you feel really taken care of. Like I'm very close to God, I guess. So that is that. However, I couldn't, secure employment, or and my education experience was just traumatized. So my mental health really just went downhill, I guess. And now I have my coping strategies, and I take medication, which is kind of helpful, makes me gain weight, but that's another story really, my weight gain and how I wasn't up to pace with the medication when I got started on it. But now I'm doing good, hopefully. Like I'm on a diet, exercise, and the rest of it. Okay, so back to the story really. I had to leave university, and it was really that point when I was caught in between my passion and the place. I just didn't have that clarity or maturity to see them for their identity. I didn't know the identity of the place. They just don't like you, basically. They don't want you. They failed you. You couldn't do well with them. It's not your team. They now, I know there's a whole different way of looking at this, owning up to your failures. How can I do better and stuff like that? But that's about environment. If you got the environment to change and you get the chance to change, and in a fair and equal world, we got that chance. But the world that I'm living in, the Western world, there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of fascism, and this comes into education and employment, in my opinion, and you just can't do well enough. So I had to leave. I didn't like the way that the place was structured anyway, and I find this working orientation in general everywhere I go. To this day, I still can't secure employment, although I don't have to work because I have a mental health condition. It's still an aspiration I have. Like I remember doing really well in school. I was always a very driven person. That lack of social position, whether it's education, employment, has left a mark on my mental health, and this is where it's all stemming from. I have an conscious reality where there's a constant trauma coming into my system, my subconscious, from my reality. I just have to open my eyes. It's just one more day in the same reality, basically. So mental health, yes, it has an effect on you, and you may start to not do so well when you don't have that psychosocial beast and that role that fulfilled you. So I tried to go back to university, I think about 2-3 years, within 2-3 years of, or within the first year. I was just trying to go back every chance I get, and maybe trying to do better if I get a breakthrough. But that's about clarity and maturity again. You just don't know about the identity of the place. They don't like you. It's not your team. It's not your environment. The kind of environment you can just do well, because this is it really. I believe in myself. I believe I can do really well. And if the environment doesn't match with me, then I'm not going to do well. Gradually, I'm going to be a failure, and we just know where that's coming from. So I just didn't like university. I find the working orientation of the world pretty much the same, because I traveled back to my country, which is a third world country, not a first world country, where I live in the United Kingdom, and in East Africa basically. And I saw that people have the same attitude, whether it's education, employment, everywhere you go. So there's an element of Western hegemony and Western domination in the world, because the West really, and I really think my mental health, this is a very peculiar way of looking at my mental health. Most people want to look at your childhood traumas, and they want to stuff you with psychiatric drugs and stuff like that. But there's always something in your conscious reality that's happening, in my belief. And this is something I know, that the Western world, which occupies a massive role in the productive world of the world, is basically racist and fascist. So when you have an idea about them, you just can't do well enough, because they literally dominate everywhere. The best education places, the best employment places, they're all very Western, unless you're coming from a different empire. Maybe you're living in China or Russia. These are the biggest empires in our world: the Western Empire, the Russians, and the Chinese. So the West really dominates the world, and if you don't agree with the way the West works, you're gonna find yourself on the bottom of the barrel or something. You just can't do well enough. As for the future, really, where my future is going, I believe in success. Basically, I'm a very driven girl. I'm 34 years old, by the way, and I don't have a career. I don't have children, but well, anyway, a conventional career. That is. I do my own work and I know my own thing. I'm not coming online talking about coaching and how it kind of saved my life, and at the same time I'm also offering the service of coaching to others. So thank you for stopping by and kind of taking a look. I'll be coming to you more with my story, with more on coaching, and what we can do together, hopefully in this time. I hope to be as much as useful as much as possible, and I hope you take something from this.